What do you see when you look back at the video from last night?
Well, a lot of things. I thought we did some good things in building the lead, and we did some bad things in giving it back. I thought we had some execution issues once we had the lead, and I thought they got us where, some one-hand passes, some bad passes, turnovers led to their fast break. I thought was one of the things that gave us in our transition defense. We got to make sure we get back, get set. I thought they got us on our heels in transition because we didn't get below the ball, so that was a definite issue defensively. The other one was getting into the gaps, make sure we protect the paint. I thought that was an issue defensively. And then offensively, we got to get the ball popping and moving. DeMar and Rudy, they're sending crowds to them, and we got to do a better job of drawing. We had wide open looks on the draw and kick issues, and we didn't make those plays. And we'll do it. I think the first game, again, we saw last night is different than preseason. The intensity level is higher than preseason. The the lane is tighter in the regular season than preseason. So I thought that was a good gauge for us.
Regarding the ball moving, Kyle said it might have been Boston's aggressiveness that made you guys sort of hesitant with passes. Is that what you saw?
No question.
Yeah.
And, Bradley is aggressive. Wallace is one of the aggressive players. Green, and they still have some remnants of the old KG, Pierce, and that defensive group, which was always perennially one of the top defensive groups. So they still have some remnants of that. So when you drive in there, there's a crowd. And we didn't see that the last time we saw them in preseason. So it was a good test for us. But again, team's going to game plan. The team's going to prepare for DeMar and Rudy. And we got to be able to play off them and make sure we're giving them an outlet and spacing when team sends you out to them.
Kyle obviously didn't have a great shooting night, but from watching film, did he look like himself other than that?
He did. I told him he may not have had a great shooting night, but everywhere else, he did a heck of a job defensively, clogging the paint, stopping the ball, verticality jumps in transition. He did a lot of good stuff defensively. And I think once he gets used to his little deal on his finger, that's going to help him tremendously.
What does Millsap bring to them? Sort of underrated guy.
He's a silent killer. I mean, he's just a solid, old-school, hard-work guy that we're going to have to really be concerned about. He and Al Horford, you got a double-barrel gun with those two, and it's going to be a great challenge for Amir and JV and Tyler and all those guys to guard them because they're not your traditional low-post guy. They're more of a pick-and-pop, space to the short corner, can knock down the free throw line, jump shot. So a lot of different looks from those guys that we're going to see.
You touched on it a bit yesterday, but you okay with Amir taking threes?
I'm okay with it. We don't want to make a living out of it. I'm ready for him to, getting early post-ups and dive into the paint. But again, he's worked on it. He's earned it. Corner threes are good shots for him. Be decisive with it. But again, I'd much rather for it to be, later in the clock, later in the game in those situations. But he's earned that right. He and Q both have worked on that shot and earned the right to take that shot.
And if teams are backing up, giving them that room.
You gotta knock it down. Now, I think teams now will respect him enough to go out and guard him.
Dwane, 13 and 28 on the road last season. How much of a measuring stick is that for growth for this team this season?
Huge. Always been a good road team. You always want to do a good job on the road. That's tough for a veteran team and a young team, but more so for a young team. And being focused on the road, going in with the same seriousness and focus, when you're not in your home arena is huge. And that seems to be tougher for a younger team, and it's going to be a good measuring stick for us in these first two games. Because, again, like I said, this month is going to be a marathon. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a situation where we got to take every possession, offensively and defensively, with a focus that's we can't take anything for granted. We got to make sure we do that, whether it's home or on the road.
Coach, you mentioned a couple of days ago that the intensity level at practice kind of had ebbs and flows throughout the preseason. Did you kind of notice a shift today in practice now that it's underway?
It was intense. Today was intense because we made it intense. We got, we called the attention. Even though we won last night, we can't be satisfied with the way we won. No disrespect to Boston, but, we miss 11 free throws. We have all those turnovers, soft kind of casual turnovers, I would say. and let them back in the game when you have a 14, 15-point lead. You know, we have to look at the big picture. So today was an attention day to talk about those things and to get ready for the next few games.
Ryan mentioned Millsap. They got a couple wins, Sporford, Teague. Is there one thing in particular though that you kind of try to nail home today about Atlanta?
Well, we worked on a lot of the things they're trying to do to people, and a lot of it is Millsap and Horford trying to pop back for their shots, Teague's penetration. You know, you got Corver coming off screens; those are attention getters, and Damari Carroll's playing good basketball right now. So they're playing solid basketball. Cartier Martin shot the ball well last night against Dallas, and so they're doing some good stuff. But the main two keys are Millsap and Horford.
What do you know about Coach Budenholzer?
I've known Bud for a long time. I mean, we had some battles when I was in Seattle. He was at San Antonio. Dallas, who's in San Antonio, played him in the playoffs numerous years. You know, he's running the same things they ran in San Antonio, a lot of good stuff. Their system is exactly like San Antonio. So, you know, he's going to do a good job because he's taking a lot of San Antonio's systems there to Atlanta.
How quickly can a team pick up that stuff, though? It must take a while.
It takes time. You know, the plus that San Antonio has, those guys were together for 15, so years. How many years Duncan's been there and Pop's been there, so that it's easier to kind of go, oh, let's go run old loop 2 or loop 1, and the guys get it automatically. Where it'll take time, but once they get it, they've got the personnel, they've got the pieces to run a lot of the similar stuff.